So one of the points you make in your book, The Storm of War, you say the central statistic of the war is the fact that for every 5 Germans that were killed on the battlefield, 4 of them were killed by the Soviets, by the Red Army.
Killed on the Eastern Front.
On the Eastern Front,
exactly.
indeed.
Yeah. So what the British and Americans and Canadians were doing was essentially killing the 5th German.
Yes.
Which was important, of course it was, and also the immense contributions that the Western Allies made to the Russian war effort with regard to the Arctic convoys and what was coming in via Persia. Thousands of planes, thousands of tanks, most of the trucks that brought the Red Army to Berlin were American made. 51 million pairs of boots. This is a major contribution which President Putin will never admit to, and they always ignore and elide. But actually it was very important. The most important thing was to keep the Wehrmacht, or at least 30% of the Wehrmacht, in the West to protect against the combined bomber offensive of Britain and America, which meant that the Soviets had to deal with the other 70%. But that's a huge difference from 100%.
Yes, and I think one of the points you make is that if we're sort of weighing up the contributions of the different Allied powers, whereas the Soviets undoubtedly donated the most in terms of blood and in terms of manpower, killing
by
4 out of 5
a massive
Germans,
factor,
by a massive magnitude.
Yeah.
The Americans were hugely influential in providing material. Like FDR made good on his promise to turn America into the arsenal of democracy in the speech he made, I think, in January 1942, just after Pearl Harbor had happened. And the British donated time and intelligence capabilities, not least through our programs at Bletchley Park.
And the naval, the naval situation, which meant that by the August of 1943, the Battle of the Atlantic had been won, and so all of the men and equipment necessary for the American push on D-Day could be brought over.